Hello, hello, and welcome. Today we're talking about denied. What to do when they don't accept your insurance. You have this doctor that you want to see, but your insurance says, nope, can't see them. You have a pharmacy that you want to go to, and your insurance says, nope, you can't see them. So they either no longer accept your insurance, that doctor or that pharmacy no longer accepts your insurance, or your pharmacy or your doctor say no, your insurance tell you no, you can't see that provider anymore, you can't go to that pharmacy anymore. What do you do? And today we're going to talk about what you can do because I know that this is frustrating for a lot of people. It was frustrating for me as a patient when I received notification that I couldn't do certain things with my insurance. And it's frustrating when patients come and they tell me, hey, I was just told I can't go see this person anymore. Or I can't go to this pharmacy anymore. And it's like, what do you do? And you have some options. And my goal is to provide you with those options and give you some solutions because we are not just going to talk about the problems. We're going to try to figure out what we can do. If you are new here, hello and welcome. I am Dr. Ashley Booth. I am a board certified family medicine physician, and my goal is to provide you with the health tips and tools that you can use in your everyday life. If you are watching live, go ahead and say hello because I love to say hey back to you and make sure that I see you. If it doesn't come through or if I don't say anything, it's not that I'm ignoring you. It means that the system hasn't pulled it through. But I always come back at the end and I say thank you for watching because I really do appreciate it. Also, go ahead if you haven't already, subscribe and follow and all those things and share so people will know what is happening because I'm absolutely talking to you things that I encounter pretty frequently. And so I know that if other people are frustrated with it, I know that you either are frustrated with it as well, or this is something to say, I need to keep this on my radar so that way I know what to do if this pops up. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So, you have this doctor that you've seen. You love them. You trust them. You've told them all the things. And then you get this notification and they say, nope, can't see them anymore. They are not in network. What do you do? You have a pharmacy. A lot of you have pharmacies that's close to the house. They have an app that you like that they use and they notify you and let you know. You like the pharmacist and the staff. You talk to them and you know that they're going to take care of you and they get the things together for you like you need. But then again, insurance says, nope, can't see them anymore. What exactly do you do? Well, I have a couple of solutions and options for you. The first thing to do is contact your insurance company directly. There are a lot of different terms that they have in there, and just because they say can't do this now, well, it depends on what's going on in the situation that you actually might be able to do it. For instance, if you have a specialist that you see, and that is the only specialist within a reasonable radius. So, say this specialist is 10 to 30 minutes from you, and the next person that they want to send you to is an hour, 2 hours away. Technically, you can go to them, make sure that your insurance, a plan agrees with this, but they should have it in there that they have to be able to have someone that is within a reasonable radius for you so that you can go and see them because if not that kind of delays care and it just doesn't make sense. So contact them directly to see if they will give you an exemption so that that person actually can be in network and get the network rate that you are accustomed to. I just ran across an article where this happened, and you can see how absurd things can be. Someone needed emergency care. They were taken by ambulance, rightfully so, because it was an emergency to the hospital. They get this huge bill in the mail, and they said, "Wait a minute, this should be covered. Emergency services should be covered." And they said they are, but the emergency transport that took you is not necessarily a network. And he says, well, which one is? And they said, the one that's an hour away. He said, that makes absolutely no sense. And then he looked at his plan and it said that they will cover an Airbus, which is essentially an airplane to come and pick them up in an emergency. Those usually come in like super, super duper emergencies, like crash accidents, and they have to take the helicopter and transport you and airlift you to certain places. His was an emergency, but it wasn't one that, determined that he needed to be transported that way. So he said, "So you're telling me that the next time I have an emergency, I need to tell them, no, no, don't bring the ambulance on wheels. I need an Airbus because that's actually what's in my network." And he said on the other end of the line, there was crickets because they were like, I guess, yeah, that doesn't really make sense. And in an emergency, how can we say that you have to wait for an hour for those other ones to come up? So then he got a notification in the mail later that said that that visit actually was covered. Had he not said anything, then they would have charged him the out of network fee and he would have been stuck with this huge bill. But he looked into it and he said, no, this really doesn't even make sense. So if you are in a situation like that, then I'd say go ahead and talk to them. Even if you don't know, if you say, well, there may be other specialists in town that I could potentially go to. But if that's not something that you really want to do, call your insurance, see if there's something they are willing to do. Because, for instance, if you are in the middle of them doing like a certain type of treatment or something, there may be a provision in there that allows you to stay with that provider because if not, you're going to have to go to someone else. You're going to have to transfer records. That is a delay in care, and that is not something that you want. So, depending on your situation, your insurance may give you an exemption. So, you have to go to them and talk to them about it. It is going to take some due diligence on your part. It's going to take some, I need to talk to someone else because it seemed like I'm not getting anywhere. Who else can I talk to? Keep track of those names, all of those things. So that way you can get what you need. If that doesn't work, the next thing is going to your provider directly. So if you have a specialist that you are seeing, you can, or your doctor, their primary, and you want to stay with them, then the other thing is sometimes I've seen this happen too, where insurance will kick it back to the patient and say, well, take this to that provider and have them to fill out this paperwork that says that they will see you. And then maybe that doctor can decide. Now, you have to understand that a lot of doctors are employees. A lot of times we don't want to think about that, but they are. And they are working for a system. So they will have to do this. They can't always make that decision. They may really want to keep you, but their hands could be tied because whoever is over them says, no, we're just not going to accept it. We're not going to do that. But it's worth a try. This happened to me. I had a patient. We were working through some things. They were getting better. And then for whatever reason, the company that I was working for said this patient is no longer in network. And I was like, okay, their insurance is no longer in network. And they were like, but I really want to stay because I'm actually getting better and we're making some transformations. And I was like, I know. So they gave me the paperwork. I took it to the people that I worked for and I said, listen, I really need to see this through. This patient is getting better. We've taken a lot of time trying to get to this point, and I'm concerned that if they don't continue with this and we have to go and find someone else, that this is going to be a delay in care and their health is going to get worse. So I, in that moment, was an advocate for them. And I said, okay, this is what I feel like should happen. They were willing to make that exception, and it was on a case by case basis, and that patient was allowed to stay. So that is another option that you have. So you can either go directly to your insurance company or you can go directly to your primary and see if that is going to get you what you need. The third option that you have is if you are seeing a specialist and that specialist is no longer in network, you can reach out to your primary and see if your primary is willing to manage it. Now, this is one of the things you need to understand. You were sent to a specialist for a reason because your primary said, this is something that is beyond my scope of practice, and I would prefer if you see a specialist so that they can manage it. But if you have been managed by that specialist for a period of time, and let's say that it is very well controlled, you're on a medication regimen that hasn't changed in quite some time, that your labs are done and everything from that standpoint looks good. And so overall, you are pretty stable. Then in those situations, your primary may be willing to say, okay, I'm willing to take this on. But understand that there are still limitations because your specialist, I mean, your primary may not be authorized to do certain medications. they also may not feel comfortable doing certain things. So you have to understand that as well. Again, another example, I had a patient that came to me. They were taking a chemotherapy drug, but it was one that they took by mouth. They came to me from somewhere else and they weren't able to get to transition directly to hematology, oncology for that. So what I did was I said, listen, because this is an emergency and I don't want you to miss any of your medicine, I am going to write for it. Let's see if your insurance will approve it, because they may say, listen, that person is primary. What the heck? Why are they prescribing that medication? So insurance may even kick it back and say, this person, we don't feel like this person is authorized to do that. So I let them know that. And I said, if it goes through this one time, then that might be the exception. However, what I'm going to do is try to expedite getting you in to your new hematologist, oncologist, so that they can continue this for you. So know that your primary may be able to take over some things, but if they are not, know that you may have to go back to that specialist or to another specialist, but you want to be able to make sure that you get the care that you need. But those are some different ways to look at it. The other thing is, and this is something that is a totally different option that you have, which is direct primary care. And I know you guys have heard me talk about this for a while. Some people are like, I'm not listening, I'm over it. I had some people kind of like shut down. But then some of those same people, after a while, started to open up and listen to what I had to say about it, because a lot of doctors are going to this model, and this is the same model that I practice. And they're going to that because we are seeing that there are a lot of things that are preventing that doctor patient relationship. There are a lot of things that are preventing us from being able to do what we really want to do and need to do, which is serve our patients and serve them well. And what the direct primary care does is it takes one of the big things that it takes out of the picture is insurance. Because what we have found is that insurance can dictate what you can and cannot do. And that's what we're talking about today. You are denied from your insurance, something that you are paying for every month, every week, every 2 weeks, however you have it set up. You are paying for this. And then they're still saying, nope, can't do that. Nope, we're not going to do that. No, I know that you have a good relationship with this person and I understand that it's patient care, but can't do it. So, direct primary care is another option that you have. For us, it doesn't matter if you have insurance, if you don't have insurance. Our thing is, let's have a direct relationship with each other so that I can make sure that you get what you need. The benefit of it is by having that direct relationship, a lot of times what it does, it can decrease the need for a specialist, and you don't have like a lot of the costly having to go to the emergency room and all this stuff, because we are able to follow along with you. You have that access. So then we're able to track things. If we see something starting to get away from us, we know how to get it back on track before it gets too far, so that we don't have to send you to a specialist. If you do, some things happen. It is what it is. If you have to go to a specialist, it's totally fine, because then your primary is there as your advocate. I have a lot of people who go to primary, and what I say is, listen, when you get over there, I want you to ask X, Y, and Z. I want you to say X, Y, and Z, because by doing that, then that is going to help us to get the answers that we need. The is going to be able to follow along with a lot of different things, because when you go to a specialist, they are specializing in that one thing. Sometimes they'll look at a couple of other things, but they are really focused on what you went there for, if that is your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, whatever it is, when you think about going to a specialist. So they're usually focused on that area because that is what they have their skill. Your primary comes to help fill in those gaps. If they did something, let me make sure that they talk to you about those labs. Do you understand that? Do we need to send you somewhere else because you're still having this issue and they fixed that, but now this is going on? So maybe we need to see someone else, or we need to do something else. But your primary goal is to stay in the loop and keep all of these things on. If you are noticing that you are doing the insurance thing and it's not working for you, understand that you have options, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to be well. You want to be able to not have any delay in your care, and you want to be able to have the best care possible. The way to find out some more about direct primary care is the website. The website is up, it is active. I'm excited about it. I'm going to put it in the chat for you guys so that way you do a lot about direct primary care. It will tell you a lot about me and what I do and how I do it. The other thing that is on there is what I've been talking about. I want for you to go out and download that free health toolkit. You go, you put your information in there, it is going to send you an email, and this is going to help you be able to figure out how to talk to your doctor so that you can get what you need, how to stay on track with your healthcare goals. It's going to give you information so that when you go to your doctor's visit, you will look like a rock star. And they'll be like, man, this patient is so prepared. They have all of their, now this can be a more efficient and effective visit. So make sure that you check out the website because it is going to have all of that information in there. It also has snippet health tips that I give out, and I post those weekly. So you're going to get that information and it stays pretty current. And every time I post a video, it goes to the website. So you want to look at that because I talk about all of these different things. At the end of the day, my job is you are healthy and able to live your best life. So until next time, thank you guys so much for watching. I am wishing you much healing and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.